Hello, Julie here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm creating an art journal page, and for this page I wanted to use my Gelatos. I haven't used them for quite some time and I thought it was about time they had to work out. I'm using a page from my self-made journal. It's just a sheet of watercolour paper that I have given a coat of gesso to and put those holes down the side so I can keep all the pages together on some of those jump rings. To create the background, I wanted to use some of the Tim Holtz Ideology tissue wrap. This one's called Melange. So I'm giving my background a coat of Mod Podge to start with. This is a satin finish, but matte would do the same job. So once I've got that all over my page, I'm going to tear off a piece of the tissue, lay it over the top of my page, and then go over the top of it with my brayer to get it down nice and flat. When that's dry, I use my scissors to trim off the excess tissue paper. As I said, I wanted to use my Gelatos, and I also want to have like a pastel coloured background. So I've selected lavender, guava, lemon, gold champagne and metallic mint. I'm just scribbling these onto my background in random areas, and then I'm going to use a baby wipe to smudge those onto my background and blend them together. So until I'll keep applying layers of these colours all over the place until I'm happy with the mix and the blend. Next I'm going to use my Crafts Workshop stencil. It's a 12 by 12 stencil and it's called Tile Texture. It's one of my favourites actually for background stenciling. I'm going to use that and some Podge Matte modelling paste. This dries white when it's dry, and I'm going to use my palette knife there to push that modelling paste through my stencil just randomly on the background. I'm not going to give a full cover. I've used my Nellie's multi-frame star die to cut six stars from plain white cardstock. These stars are going to be my focal point, so I'm using my Jane Davenport Bright Palette watercolours, and I'm going to use a purple from there. I give my stars a spray with some water and then use my water brush to add purple colouring to the stars. I want a fairly dark, bright colour that's going to stand out against the pastel coloured background. When that's dry, I use my Kazaz Life's Moments background stamp. It's just got text on it, and my Versafine Onyx black ink, and just stamp over those stars. This will give the stars a bit more interest and help them stand out from the background. I use the same Mod Podge to attach my stars to my page. The next day I found that this Mod Podge had not really stuck the stars all that well, so I went back with my art glitter glue and attached them using that. The Mod Podge would have probably worked fine if I had attached more or used more of it, but because I had Gelatos in the background and they're not water resistant when they're dry, and also the watercolours that I used on top of the stars, I didn't want to smudge that onto the background. I probably wasn't as liberal with my Mod Podge as I probably should have been, so that could be why it didn't stick so well. I used my Sizzix 662667 alphabet die to cut my title or my quote from black cardstock. My quote says, "All that sparkles." I'm going to use the Mod Podge to attach that to my page. Once my stars were dry, I took my Stabilo All pencil in black and drew around the edge of each star, and then used my water brush to smudge that black pencil out, so giving some shading and definition to my stars. It helps them look like they're connected to the page and also makes them stand out from the page. I've left this at normal speed so that you can see how it's done. I'll only be showing how I do this first star. I'll do the other stars off screen. So all of my stars have been shaded now, and I'm going to use my scissors to trim off the overlap. I use my clear Wink of Stella pen to give a coat of glitter over the title. The Wink of Stella sort of tones the black down so it's not quite as bright, and also adds some sparkle to the letters. To add some sparkle to my stars, I'm going to use the Nuvo drops, their crystal drops, and their morning dew. And when I saw that when this was starting to dry that it didn't really have much sparkle to it, it wasn't what I had in mind. But I'm going to use, I've just squeezed some out onto one of my acrylic blocks, and I'm going to use my water brush to cover each and every one of those stars. I have a couple of these Fineline bottles that I keep watered down acrylic paint in. One's got white paint, one's got black. I'm going to use the black one to draw a squibbly border around my page. I always like to put a border around my page. I think it just sort of gives it a finishing touch. As I said, I wasn't quite happy with the amount of sparkle that I had on my stars, so I'm using some Spellbinders Sparkle Dust Glitter, and I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top of the stars. Now, parts of the stars are already dry, so the glitter's not going to stick to the whole star, but that's fine, I don't mind that. So I tip the glitter on and then tip it off onto a piece of scrap paper, and then I can put it back in my container. That completes my page for today. I really enjoyed making this page. It's simple, but yeah, I'm quite happy with it. So I hope you've enjoyed watching my video, and if you're not already a subscriber, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel. If you have enjoyed the video, I hope you can join me when I post my next video.